All right, let's talk about Derek Dietrich and his new position with the Yankees, culture and accountability coordinator. What the hell is this?
And hold on, before you say this, just so you know, Max, this has been, I have a bone to pick with the New York Yankees. Uh, I've heard from Levine in the past. Levine has monitored some of the things that we have done. So I think he's still listening. But we have talked about a common sense department that needs to be into the New York Yankees for such a long time. You know, the common sense department, understanding like how a guy can do in a new market, you know, just the things that everyday people are looking at that seemingly the Yankees have not looked at. This sounds like a direct result of this conversation from multiple years, a culture and accountability. That is common sense in different words. So I'm very curious to see how this thing transpired and why Dietrich for this position.
Well, we could talk about this for another hour, so I'll try to be as brief as possible. I covered Dietrich when I was an intern at MLB.com in Miami in 2018. That was his last year there before the iconic summer with the Reds where he was, making an eye black mustache and doing bicep curls in the dugout. So I went up to him in a Jupiter the other day and asked if he remembered the tall, chubby ginger from New York City, and he did. So that was cool because it's been so many years since then. But I just started picking his brain about this new role that he has, and he said that it happened organically. He never really left. He had the suspension, which he explained to me was a stimulant, something from a pre-workout that he took. So it wasn't a performing enhancing drug. And he wants to be able to make sure that no one else makes that kind of mistake going forward. And the sense that I got is really just, he's an advisor to all different affiliates within the organization, from the big league level down to some of the youngest prospects within the system, just as a resource to them, right? I mean, he was a versatile defender when he played in the big league. So he's going to be working with guys about playing different positions. He was always passionate about hitting. So he'll be in the cages with the Yankees hitting coordinators and hitting coaches. And also the unique perspective that he has, because he played, 6+ years of MLB service time, spent almost that much time in the minor leagues over the years. And then also the last 2 years, he's been with the Yankees. So he has a firsthand knowledge of what the culture is behind the scenes with the Yankees organization. And he's 34, so he can relate to some of these guys. He's not too far removed from playing in the bigs, as much as his last opportunity was 2020, if I remember correctly. So, is it similar to what kind of presence like a Nick Swisher has? I guess a fan could compare that, because they have the big, bulky, personality and physique. But, when I then went up to Anthony Volpe, who crossed paths with Dietrich in the minors when he was in Somerset, and, he instantly lit up when I mentioned Derek's name, and legitimately had a couple stories about how he was taking guys out to dinner, teaching them lessons about what you need to look out for as you climb through the minors and then also get to the major leagues. So this isn't just, you're bringing a guy in who's a fun name, who's going to, hype guys up in the dugout. I think there's a little more substance to it. And so far he's from the folks that I've talked to in the last couple of days, so far he's had an impact in this new role, and we'll see where it goes.
So you mentioned that he's going to be, speaking with and kind of going across the affiliates as well. Is he going to be traveling with the major league team, or is this
this seems like
something that's spring training?
Position,
yeah.
Right?
Where is he going to be?
He said a little bit of both. Everything really. He said he'll be in the Bronx. Didn't mention if he'll be traveling with the team on the road, but I guess that's possible. But otherwise, it's, I don't know if it'll be a home base, but it'll definitely be in Tampa, because they have the player development complex there and an affiliate there as well. But also, parachuting in and out with the different minor league clubs and just building relationships, trying to help in any way he can, and capitalizing on the time that he's there.
One thing you mentioned about like mentoring the young players, especially in the lower levels of the minors, taking them out to dinner and things like that. I do, not being sarcastic anymore about this seemingly made up position. That is important, because those guys that get into rookie ball and they get into single A and like they have no money, like they're working so many hours between practice and travel and games. And like we've heard stories like of how the food is just terrible. Like they're eating fast food, or they're eating scraps. So like having a guy who's made a little bit of money taking you out to, it doesn't have to be the greatest thing, but just like out to a dinner, to a grocery store or whatever. Like I do think there is an importance there.
Well, and this was different where he wasn't just there for a couple days on a rehab assignment. Like
Right.
he was trying to, revitalize his career. And then when he got suspended, Volpe was telling me that in AAA, he was still the life of that clubhouse and working as hard as anybody else, even when he wasn't allowed to play for the rest of that year. So I think just the dedication that he showed to helping other people within the organization when he was there maybe paved the way to him coming on in this new role. But it is a new position. He seems pretty, excited about it and has a chance to pursue a World Series because he didn't have a chance to do that when he was a player, being with the Marlins all those years. So we'll see what happens, guys.
So
but
he would get a World Series ring